Friends, welcome to the show. This is day 5 of the 5-day Guitar Challenge Boot Camp. I played that one for you at the beginning of the week. I wanted you guys to hear it again. It's a new song with my band Gabriel the Bull. And as promised, yesterday, friends, we kind of switched gears because the majority kind of ruled there. And I was definitely in the mood to show you some of this kind of stuff today, and I'm going to do that. So yesterday I showed you how to think about solos with one particular song. Now I'm going to show you this song, the song that I just played. So that solo I'm going to break down for you. It's real easy, and once you start getting inside the head of some other players, you're going to go see. You're going to see, oh wow, that if I have those tools, I can create on the spot. Now that solo is obviously written because you've heard it before, but I wrote it, right? There's a point where you sit down and you say, man, that's not the lick, or that's the lick, but that's not where I want it to resolve to. Now, where does that chord go? And then you might use some theory, you might use some patterns and that sort of thing in order to kind of give you a framework of what you might be able to do with your licks and that sort of thing. So I'm going to walk you through that again today, all right? So glad that you guys are here, very excited. If I seem like I have low energy today, I'm sorry. I feel like I do a little bit. I'm messing a little bit with the whole keto diet. So I've been cutting my carbs drastically, and it's supposed to kind of mess with you a little bit. So I feel a little messed with today. I don't know if it's that or I don't know what it is, but it's probably that. Shaky and stuff. Okay, day 5. Here's what we're going to be talking about is Introduction to the Advanced section of the Unstoppable Guitar System. I'm going to show you Advanced and Advanced Plus. Just show you basically what's in there really quickly, take you through there because our special is ending on Sunday. And I want folks to know we got a lot of folks in here who have joined up recently, but we have some other folks who have not. And so I want to show you what's inside there, inside the Advanced and Advanced Plus sections. And honestly, the stuff we're talking about today is kind of intermediate advanced type topics because we've covered many of the basics earlier on this weekend and earlier in the week. So I'm going to be doing that, taking you through that section. And instead of learning our first song, again, we're going to be doing something songwriting, but it has to do with chords and melodies and specifically solos. So it is having to do with learning songs and the construct and all that stuff, but I'm going to be doing it through teaching you that solo, or like the basic idea of that solo and how I'm thinking about it. And again, in doing so, it's going to really help you with improvisation and to understand some things that you might be able to do. You know, you can do anything you want. It's art. Art is subjective, which means it's just an opinion and there's no right or wrong, but there's a construct of music, and just like going to see a movie, you will probably expect it to end a certain way. You probably are not expecting it to end in a way that's going to really make you mad or really upset you or make you sad or something, because then you're not going to tell all your friends to go see that wonderful movie, right? So there's a construct that we expect, whether we know it or not. Same thing with music. There is a construct. Whether you know it or not, it's a matrix. You're in the matrix, right? But once you see it, now you're like, oh, okay. And then the lights come on. All right? Now, okay, so here we go. So let's do that. First thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you, while I'm doing this, right before I do this here, real quick. If you're watching this, friends, and you have not already, if you have not taken advantage of the 50 or so videos that I have for you, that are, I think, going away on Sunday. I know that we're doing the promotion until Sunday. I'm not sure what's happening with the website, but nonetheless, you can get these today. If you click the link in the description of the video, the very first link, that'll bring you to a page. Once you're on that page, the lessons aren't going to jump out at you and start playing your guitar. You've got to scroll down to the bottom, enter your name and email. That will give you access to all the courses, because then I can send you the links, because it's behind what we call a paywall. It's behind the paywall. So like the only way for us to get that to you is by sending it directly to your email, okay? So you're going to get the Unstoppable Guitar System Standard, which is 30-something lessons that over 500,000 people have gone through already, and it's absolutely changed their guitar lives. There is the course, the first week of 365, which we talked about on Wednesday. Just get in it. You don't have to know about all this stuff right now. Just know it's available to you. And then another like 6 or so videos that we got that we dropped this weekend that had to do with how to play chords, scales, licks, what have you, all over the neck. That course I'm giving you as well, too. First link in the description of the video will take you to that page. Just scroll to the bottom, put your email and name in there, and we'll get that to you. Also on that page, you're going to see some of the specials that we have. We're knocking $222 off of the Unstoppable Guitar System Pro. It's normally $685. Whatever 222 is off, that's what we're doing. So massive price off there. Literally, if you took 2 lessons with me, 2 lessons with me would be almost the price of the entire course, not discounted. So with the discount, you're literally getting everything that I would have to teach you, over 1,000 lessons for under what it would take to meet with me 2 times. 2 times, okay? It's very affordable. If you want to do the yearly route, we have something that's going to save you about $58, I believe. Yeah, $58. If you're paying monthly, it's $228. If you do
78.
Was that 78 ultimately, right? Yeah, so we just introduced this yearly membership to UGS. We have monthly, that's $19 a month, but we just dropped this thing. It's $180 a year, which saves you $58, but we're dropping it another $30. Yeah, something like that. The total is going to be like $78 off, okay? Isn't that right, Mike? Yeah, $150, because normally it's $228, so it's going to be $78 off today for that first year. So jump in there, friends. Oh, and also 365, normally $79 is $49. Check all that stuff out in there. Okay, now let me show you. Now we're inside of the Unstoppable Guitar System Pro. This is the one where students have access to me 24/7 via email on these videos. You know, someone has a question on the cage system here. Then what they're going to do is they're going to leave their message right here on the video. Look, right there. Boom. Okay? We just reply to all these as they come along. So you have access to that. Next week, I believe it's next Tuesday or Wednesday, we're going to be doing 3 hours of live, not with hundreds of folks, but with a smaller group inside of UGS. It's a great time to have one-on-one time with me, get your questions answered in real time, and really get coached. You know, coaching is expensive. I get coached sometimes. I love a good coach. I don't like bad coaches because they're just a waste of money. But you get a good coach who's going to guide you. They don't have to be, you know, when you see these boxers that have coaches and what have you, the coach is not better than the boxer, right? Tyson's coach is not going to box better than Tyson. But they know things, and they can see things in a way that student cannot. And in the same way, you may be a better player than me. There's a good chance you are. That's totally fine. I'm totally fine with that. Whatever that means to be better than someone at guitar, that's just a weird notion. But let's say you are, then that's fine. You still need a coach. You still need someone who can guide you and take you all the way to where you need to go. And that's what the Unstoppable Guitar System is all about. Now, in here, we've got the Advanced and Advanced Plus. Let me show you something real quick. I told you that if you go through the beginner section, which I'm giving you a large majority of that today, I'm giving you like 50 videos. Once you get into the intermediate section and the advanced sections, I have it broken up into 4 basic areas: technique, theory, chords, and scales. Technique, theory, chords, and scales. Except this is the intermediate version and this is the advanced version. Obviously, if you want to study chords, start in intermediate chords, then go to advanced chords. If you want to study theory, go to intermediate theory, and then go to advanced theory, okay? And then inside these, you see all these breakout courses where there's just like courses within courses. It's like freaking Inception for guitar, okay? Advanced Plus, check this out. So if you were to drill down to any one of these chords or whatever, you're gonna get everything you need to understand chords, to build chords, the theory behind chords, fingerings, where you would use them, just on and on, okay? Now, the Advanced Plus section, let me go back here. The Advanced Plus section is filled with a bunch of other mini courses in here, okay? And each one of these, when you break them out, like swing guitar, you're gonna have a whole course in here about swing guitar, okay? So lots and lots of good stuff there, right? Now, one of the things that is in this that has absolutely changed players' lives on how to play solos and what have you is the intermediate call and response, the advanced call and response. I guess that intermediate call and response should be in the intermediate section. We should move that. Well, no, it's not. No. I did this purposely because call and response is an advanced bit here, and we just put all three there. So get it. And each one of these break down into some really cool things where I play a lick and then you play it back. So it's really like mirroring the coach type of thing, and then me walking you through what have you. Okay, so there's that. In the intermediate plus section, there's something called the minimalistic blues right here. And this teaches you how to use the blues scale, how to think in sections on the neck like we talked about yesterday. And that's what I'm going to show you right now that I've showed you this stuff, okay? What you got, Mike?
Show them the update section. I want to show them where I post the Zoom links for next Tuesday.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, so the update section here is where Mike puts Zoom links. So this would be next Tuesday?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So you can, here's the deal. Pro members have access to this. If you're not a pro member, you can be a pro member today with all the discounts. If you're still like, I got to try this out, go to YourGuitarSage.com/1. You get to test drive this whole thing, 1,000 videos, for 30 days without getting charged. On the 30th day, we charge, right? That's all of the world right now. So if you're not used to that model, that's the whole world right now. Get out at the 29th day if you don't want to be charged, but I guarantee you're going to want to stay in there because the amount of videos and quality that we have in here is you're just going to be like, this is crazy. So that's why I say get in there for $1. Yeah, get it, got it good. Right, and we still do a 60 money back guarantee on top of that. So, well, if you don't want to be in, we want people who want to be in. We don't want anybody who's disgruntled or doesn't want to be in here, and we don't need the money to do it. So, anybody that ever asks, hey, I don't want to be in it, it's not for me today, we totally give you 100% of your money back, no questions asked, and it's not a big deal. Like, we have enough students, we appreciate it. We just want to help more of the world and through playing guitar. Okay, that's the update section there. Okay, now let's take a look at kind of extending what we did yesterday, right? Which is chords being played. How do we know what to do? Okay, and this song called "Follow the Lightning" by the band Gabriel the Bull. You can check us out on Instagram. We have some videos actually on YouTube. We had a band rehearsal last night right here, and we were talking about going back out west, probably in June, because we have lots of songs that we need to do videos for, and also doing some shows and stuff out there. Phoenix, I think, if you're around Phoenix, Tulsa, I think. I'll let you know more as we get closer, but it's definitely going to be all out west shows. And so this song is one of the songs, it has not been released yet. So we're on Spotify and that sort of thing too, but you won't hear this song on there, okay? It's called "Follow the Lightning." And so you heard the basic chord progression is like a right, which is an E minor, D, A minor. Now I'm playing this kind of D that's like, it's not really a D. It's based on a D chord, but I mean, there's a lot of other things going on there. That's a 4. I mean, that's a 5, so this would be a 4. So it's like a... Yeah, so that's like a suspended. And then I'm hitting this note up here, which is a 6. So I'm throwing a 2, I'm throwing a 6 in the chord, and I'm giving it a bass note of an A. So here's a D, here's the chord I substituted. I just like the sound of that, it's real rich sounding. So, but effectively you could use E minor, D minor, and an A. Okay. So let me put this into my looper here, and we'll work with it. Okay. So I'm gonna do it kind of slow here to. One more time. Okay, so now they and I'm gonna just double check something here. Yeah, so let's take something back here real quick to the lead in this tune, and then I'm gonna break some down for you here. Mike, if I can make sure I got the audio on this, I gotta find it real quick.
On the track.
Yes. Whole other song right there. Oh, sorry, I know where it is. Give me 2 seconds here. Okay. Here we go. It's the solo here. Chorus. Okay, so I had that chord progression, right? So the solo goes something like this. Over and out, right? So I'm in there, I'm out real quick. I love a good solo that's just from the top to the bottom. It's just quick, does what it needs to do, says what it needs to say, and it's out. Wow. PJ's back. Oh, thank you so much, PJ, for the super kind donation. That's really generous. I haven't seen you in a while, PJ, so it's so good to see you. She says, so great to be a refreshed view on UGS offers. I'm a UGS Pro Lifetime member, and I can tell you that it's the best online option out there, bar none. Oh, thank you. 2 years ago, I knew nothing. Today, I'm a guitarist still learning. Love that, PJ. That's super, super generous, super kind. Thank you for the donation. And Tanmay, thank you again for the donation as well. How to come up with modal chord voicings. We'll talk about that. Modal chord voicings. Yeah, won't get off on subject here, but just remind me about that one, all right? All right. So right at the beginning of this solo, I do this thing. Number one, the song is in the key of E minor. So I have an E minor, right? And I got a D, and I got an A minor. E minor, D, A minor. And so for that first part, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have a measure 1, 2, 3, 4 of E minor, measure of D, and 2 measures of A. So it almost like kind of sounds like it resolves there, right? But what I did is in the beginning here, since it's an E minor, I went straight to a blues scale or a pentatonic scale, and that first lick, because it's in E minor. I go. That's the first lick. And let me explain to you why I did that. Number one, I wanted it to come in with this sing-songy like, bah. I knew I wanted that. And then there's this lick that happens in the song, right? It goes. Bo-do-do, right? There's that. And when we recorded this song, that part was in the song. And I liked it so much that what I do, especially with the bull music, is I try to work around the orchestration of the parts that already have a motif, that already have your ear, that already that are doing something, they're saying something, and I don't want to step on that. And this is a great practice. This is what I teach inside the program. It's what every good studio guitar player knows, is you don't want to step on anybody's parts. Even if you have the best part in the world, you don't want to step on anybody's parts, okay? Especially if they're signature, meaning like, you know, that it's that melody or that little thing that you hear in a song that every time it's there, right? So, in order to do that, I wanted to work around that lick. And so I did that by going, in fact, let me change this. Let me do, take this one more time. One more time. Jeez, one more time. I told you I need some carbs in me. Maybe a nice big brownie. I want a brownie right now. Okay, so there I got that bow, bow, bow. I got that in there. So now, listen, if I play this lick, I'm gonna stop anything that I'm doing in the solo so that that comes out. And in fact, I think I might have integrated it into the solo here. Let me see, here we go. So I throw it right in there. I did that purposely because actually on the recording it's in there, but when we're playing live, I'm the only electric guitar, so it's not in there. I mean, the bass player may play it, but the guitar's not there. So I thought, let's put that in there. It'll be a thread, right? Something common that'll bring one thing into another. We learn by association. We associate by association. So like you get to know people because of people that you know. That's how life works, is you're weaving in and out of stuff all the time. And so when you do this with music, you know, following the chord, chasing the root note, chasing the color tones in the chords, playing those notes, resolving on those notes, that sort of thing. What it does is it's like a great conversation between two people where they're riffing off each other, no one's stepping on the other one's, you know, interrupting, if you will. They're not interrupting each other, they're not stepping on each other's notes. In that same way, when there's this great common back and forth of music or conversation, it's a beautiful thing. So that's what we're always aiming for in music, okay? And you can even work in the context of that. You could work with the idea of stepping on each other's toes, right? See, what is it? Like New Orleans jazz. Literally, everybody's kind of taking a solo at the same time, but that's literally makes that sound, right? So like you can play with these ideas. They're not hard, fast rules. It's just like ideas that we want to do, and this is why music tends to sound really good, is that there's this conversation. Make sense? Okay, so here we go with that lick again. I'm not doing anything crazy down here. It's the pentatonic or the blues scale. I take off, I start with this nice, which is a note in the chord. It's that B that's in the E minor. And then I go right down the blues scale. And I have a little bit more drive on there. That's lick 1. Here it is. And then we're on to the second lick, okay? And I go. Now, why did I do that? The chords are E minor and D. So I go ba-da-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da. Now, let's analyze this, because you go, wow, man, it sounds great. It does. You know why? I'm arpeggiating the chord. Kind of. I'm not arpeggiating like this. That would be arpeggiating it, right? Somebody said Eagles Hotel California. It's the same thing, right? If this is E minor and I go, you calling me?
Don't ever play the Eagles.
Don't ever play the Eagles. No, I'll never play one of their songs again. No. And then D. Right? If I did that, then I would be just arpeggiating the chord. But what I did is I said, okay, well, I'm going to take these two notes here, and I'm going to throw in this note here, because this is the chord, or the first two notes of the chord. And then I play the next two notes of the chord, of the D chord. But I throw in another note, and this is very common that guitar players do, is if I just played the arpeggio, it would sound, I don't know, kind of dull in my opinion, or kind of predictable. But if you throw these other notes in there that create tension, remember almost, well, really when we're playing in diatonic music, which is all music pretty much, every other note is harmonized. So this is a harmony, that's a harmony, that's a harmony of that E minor chord. So those aren't not in the chord. So of course they're going to sound good. But this note here, that's not in the chord, but it still sounds good. So I created a lick around that arpeggio. So I went. So chord tone, chord tone, chord tone, not a chord tone, pull off, chord tone, chord tone, chord tone. So literally I throw in one note that's not a chord tone over that E minor. But you can't mess up, okay? And then I go over that D. Look, there's the D chord. Same amount of notes in the chord on this one. It's the same lick. Now here is a little lesson as well. When you take a motif is a musical idea like, right, that's a motif. In this case, this is a motif, or bum 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 bum. Those are motifs. This is a motif. It's just a musical idea, okay? But now look at what I did. If I was good enough to do once, it was good enough to do again, and I just did it off of a different chord. I could have kept going. You know, depending on what I want to do. But you see, I'm just basing those off of chords. And triads, as I teach you guys inside of UGS, right? So we got that first lick. It's an E minor. let the beat go by a little bit so I can play to tie the lick in the beginning of the song into the solo, and then I come up here because of E minor, and then a D, and then it goes to an A minor, and what I did is I went, right? So I kind of bend that note up to, guess what? An A, and I end on that A chord. Wow, that just happened to work out perfectly. Out of all the 12 notes, that just so happened to be the note that I picked. Well, no, the reason I picked that note is probably because it sounded good. I don't know if I did that one by theory or just because it sounded good. I don't know. I probably played it, thought it sounded good, and then was like, now how does that compare to the chord? But that's exactly what I did, okay? Playing right on top of the chord for that E minor, then on this D, and then bending up to that note. Right? But what really makes it sound cool is the little notes that I put in there to vary it up. Because if I just did this, watch, if I play the arpeggio, it's gonna sound real boring. Watch this. So let me go, I'll play the first lick correctly. Here we go. That's the first way, right? Here we go. That's boring to do it like that. It's not boring. I mean, it still sounds good because we're following everything, right? But you get the idea. I'm adding some other flair to it. Okay? So hopefully that helps. I would love to, I've done this with a lot of the Oh, there goes my monitors. Hang on there. There goes my ear monitors. I've done this quite a few times, right, with these bull songs, and it seems to really help folks out. So we'll keep on doing that. I've got a bunch more tunes that we just recorded, so I'll keep on doing that with you guys, and we don't have to worry about the Eagles climbing all over me for playing their stupid songs, trying to stop me from teaching songs because they're afraid that I'm taking their money away. Dear Lord, come on, right? All right, let's get to some questions. Let's get some questions answered, all right? So I vowed I will never teach a stinking Eagles song again. I never liked them anyways, Mike. I was doing it for the people. Seriously, I mean, Hotel California is a good song, but I just have never gotten into them. I don't know why. Sorry if you love them, to each his own. I think they're obviously a really great band. I just personally don't like it. And I don't like their damn attitudes, Mike, to be honest with you. I'm a little salty today without that brownie.
You need a donut.
I need a good donut. Krispy Kremes. It's like a half dozen.
$5.
Or the donut holes, right? Those are 0 calorie. Those are from the center. All right, let's get some questions answered, right? Here we go. What questions do you guys have in what I did just now, or inside the program, or anything that we've covered this week, or anything else that has to do with the guitar? Someone's saying it's pinch harmonics, and this guitar doesn't produce the best pinch harmonics in the world. I'm gonna be straight up honest with you, it doesn't. But those are pinch harmonics, okay? And so what a pinch harmonic is when you take your pick and you strike the string, and when you hit the string pops back up and it grazes your the side of your thumb. That's how most people do it, okay? But anytime you hit a string and you barely touch the string, it creates a harmonic. Just like in the beginning of, I think, Rebel Yell or one of the Billy Idol tunes, Steve Stevens goes, right? And so what I'm doing is I'm not pressing the string down, I'm just lightly grazing my finger across the string. I have some pretty substantial amount of overdrive or fuzz going on here, and so because of that, you get those really cool sounds, right? And so because of that, we can do the same idea, but instead of touching it here with this hand, we're touching it with the picking hand, okay? Michelle, I love that. She says she's learned so much. No, just want to thank you. I've learned so much these past 5 days. Ready to roll. Love that. Okay, so basically we're touching the string, but not with the fretting hand. We're doing it with the picking hand. Normally when we pick, we pick and our hands away from the guitar. But if we kind of press our pick into the string, and I have a whole video for this, so on YouTube search YourGuitarSage pinch harmonics, okay? And they call them pinch because it's kind of like you're, I don't know, you're kind of like you're pinching the string, but you're not really. Just looks like you are. And so the string comes up and it grazes your thumb. Here's without. Here's with. Nice if you give it a little vibrato or a little bend with it too, you know? And so that's pinch harmonics, and they're a lot of fun. If you don't have overdrive, it's not gonna work very well. It works best if you start on the thicker strings, the lower strings, and the lower frets as opposed to the higher frets, because the string really needs to rattle a little bit, okay? All right, good. Oh, Ronald just joined yesterday, just joined UGS yesterday. Love that. Beautiful. Welcome, Ronald. Love it. Okay. Yeah, it takes a while to nail the pinch harmonics. It does. You've got to get used to it. You got to do it over and over and over and over again. And in time, it'll start making sense. All right, you'll feel it, but you just got to do it over and over again. Eric, what is your string size, and what do you advise for beginners on electric and acoustics? Okay, my string sizes on this guitar, I believe, are 10s or 11s. Normally, I play 9s and 8s. So it depends on my strats, and on my on the strats, I always have to think about this. On the strats, because the length is longer, I put thinner strings on it. Here's why. One of the things I teach you guys in the beginning of UGS is the physics of sound. The bigger an object is, the lower in pitch, the lower the pitch it makes. The smaller the object is, the higher the pitch it makes. So think about a hummingbird. Its heart beats very fast, doesn't live super long, its wings flap super quickly, its metabolism's really high. It makes a high noise. A whale, metabolism's slower, they make very deep noises like that, and plankton. Like, what's his face said that, comedian. Anyhow, so the bigger an object is, right, the deeper the pitch. So the longer the string, the deeper the pitch. The shorter the string, so like say on Les Pauls, the scale length is shorter. Because of that, the pitch of the string, you can get it to pitch easier. Okay, you don't have to tighten it as much as you would need to on the Strat. And so you can put different gauges on there. So I use 8s and 9s on those. On this one, I think they're 10 or 11s. But ultimately, go with the ones that work best for you. For beginners, I would highly suggest getting light strings. on the acoustics, if you can get light and it can keep your acoustics still in tune, then get some lighter strings because you can bend easier with them. They're easier to press down. The definition is said to be better. So Rick Beato did a video on that, and it was very informative. And technically, it's just true because it's going to be a brighter sound. Here, listen to this. If I take an E, okay, a high E, and I play it on the high E string, tell me what's different. These are all the same notes, okay? Same note, but what's happening to it? It's becoming darker, isn't it, right? It's not becoming as defined. So thinner strings create more definition. And so, there's an ego thing where guitar players think that if they have thicker strings, they're better players or they're stronger players. No one cares about the strength of your hand. I've never seen anybody go to a concert and go, God, that guitar player's hands, they're strong. He can't play crap, but his hands are strong. Now, you want finesse, right? And you want good melodies coming out of those fingers. So no one cares how thick your strings are. And I'm not saying that insultingly. I'm just saying for those that are like, no, I got to play 12s because that's what Stevie played. Cool. Can you play like Stevie? If you can, then yeah, you can win that argument. But unless you're playing like Stevie, you don't need to be playing 12s, okay? Stevie did a bunch of cocaine too. You gonna do a bunch of cocaine? No, of course not, right? So play some thin strings, make yourself happy, make your fingers happy, and just play. Just try to play some good music. That's all we care about. Right, Mike?
That's right, you're a little cranky.
I'm very cranky today. I'm sorry. I am sorry. Okay, so Tanmay said, he said modal chordal changes. Here's the deal, Tanmay. I'm going to look for your comment in here. Do you love jazz? If you answer that question for me, we can move on, okay? But answer that question, how much do you love jazz? Or give me three types of music that you absolutely love. And then I can help you a little bit more. Okay. Okay. This may be more of a classical technique, but I think that fretting the harmonic with your right hand is super cool, so you can do different shapes with your left hand. Yeah, yes, exactly. Yep, I understand the keto flu. Exactly. Stay hydrated. I did that and I took a bunch of electrolytes today. Yeah, I'm keeping on it. I'm also not going to be too freaky with the no carbs thing. I'm gonna go into it slow. I'm gonna go into it real slow. Drinking game phrase. I have a whole video of this. Pinch harmonics. Is there a topic that is not covered in a video? Haven't found it. Breast program around. Breast. Yeah, sure. Best program around. Thank you, Franz. Should have a breast program, Mike.
I'm in.
What would that look like? I have ideas. Okay, so yeah, to Tanmay. So we're looking for. I want to hear what kinds of music you like, Tanmay, and is jazz or fusion any part of that? Okay. Okay, like if I play random harmonic on the 3rd fret of the 5th. A 3rd string, the 5th fret, that note is that going to be? What note is that going to be? Know what it would be naturally. I guess you just got to play around with it. Well, kind of. It definitely has a formula, and I honestly don't memorize it. I was looking this subject up the other day because I'm like, is there more to it that maybe I've missed over the years? Because I'm always trying to do that. And I'm honest with you. I'll say, guys, I've been playing for 20 years and I just discovered this. I've been playing for 30 years, just discovered this. I don't mind doing that. That's okay. We're on a journey. We're always learning stuff. I'm always going to be learning with this guitar, okay? So, but it goes like this. So if you pick the 12th fret, it's the same note as the open string. Or actually, it's like playing the 12th fret. It's the same letter name though. So if I'm plucking the B string here, and then I pluck the 12th fret, it's like playing the 12th fret. Sounds very much the same. Okay? The 7th fret is also that note right underneath it. So, in this case here, this is an F sharp. But it's an octave up. Can you hear it? It's an octave up. It's a whole other octave. And then this note here is an octave of the open string. So this is a B. This is a high B. This is yet another. So this is a B. This is a B an octave up. Here's a B another octave up. Okay? And you can do some really cool things with by combining them. Okay. Yeah, that was my sling blade interpretation. That's my I haven't had any carbs interpretation. Yeah. Wow. Dennis, joined this weekend. Thanks to you and your crew. I'm a Vietnam vet. The kindness of you guys. Then you gave me a 5-day boot camp and I'm hooked. You're a great and a very kind person. Thank you so much, Dennis. We're so glad that you're with us. Thank you so much for your service. I have a special place in my heart for veterans, children, animals, elderly. Anybody maybe who's who's I don't know, in all those positions. I just have I have a heart for it. And specifically Vietnam because I was born in that era, and so I don't know, I feel akin to that, like that energy, I guess, of what was going on in the world and all that back then. It's wild. But I have a special place in my heart for Vietnam vets. Same pitch, different tone, Tex. Yeah, you got it, right? So we're doing this. It's a different tone because we're getting thicker strings, and so there is definitely a timbre difference, yes. I suck at practice schedules. I want to play electric guitar. Okay, so here we have a question about practice schedules. Electric blues, slide, delta, fingerstyle, and this before I get into learning songs and techniques. How do you do it all? Play every day, but all over the place. Okay, so let's take what David wants here, because ultimately it's what you want. What do you want in life? We don't ask that question enough. And we need to ask that question about all sorts of things. It's really important. It's therapeutic and it's good. You may want something that's not good for you, and then you can figure that out. But you got to start with, like, what do you want? And so I want to play electric blues, slide, delta, fingerstyle, and this is before I get to learning songs and technique. Okay. Here's what I want you to do. How do you do it all? What I want you to do, David, is focus on a good blues, slide blues course. And don't worry about learning the songs. Now, the technique, obviously, you have to learn as you're going along because slide is one of the worst, it's one of the worst genres to not play well. Because, or I should say, it's the worst genre that you could play if your technique's not down, because it's all about your technique. You got to get technique down, but it's different than the technique that we're learning in the beginning section of UGS, right? You have a slide in your hand, and now you are and you're doing things that are entirely different than you're doing with your fingers. That being said, David, my buddy RJ Ronquillo has an amazing slide course. You can get that on Udemy. If you're inside the Unstoppable Guitar System, you get it inside there. In fact, there's 2 courses in there. There's how to play slide guitar, and then there's the top 30 slide lessons that every guitar player should know. And I learned how to play slide by listening to RJ as he built that course. I've had a slide, I've messed with it for decades before listening to RJ, and he taught it so succinctly and so good that I literally was like, just light bulbs went on in my head. If they've been going on for you inside this, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about that's in that slide course. So take advantage of that, David. If you want to do the YourGuitarSage.com/1, if you want to do that $1 offer, you literally would have access to that and try it out. Get in there, try it out. If you don't love it, get out. We don't want to hold you if you don't want it, okay? But that's what I would do. And if you want to get good at slide guitar and don't want to get into the other stuff yet, that's totally fine. Nothing wrong with that. There's no judgment there. It's just like, what do you want, okay? So if you're into string violins, try an old set of Black Diamonds. They're basically a cheese grater. Really? It's so funny. One of the first bands, local bands that I encountered growing up was named Black Diamond. It was my friend's band, Black Diamond. And was it Black Diamond? Or was that satanic rock singer? Was his name Black Diamond? King Diamond. King Diamond. No, he was in a band called Black Diamond. That's right. And they named it after the string set. Yeah. Embrace your crankiness. Any updates on your Dueling Ninja Overdrive distortion pedal? Yes, it's right there, Analog Kid. If you would like one, we have a handful of them right now. The reason I haven't been telling you to come get them is because they flew off the shelves, and we literally only have a handful of them left. And I don't, and I want to keep them there for folks that like you who are asking about it. So if you're looking for my signature overdrive pedal that I had hand created, check it out. You can, Mike, could you put the link up? You probably did already. Of course you did. Freaking ninja. Check out the link in the chat there, and that will give you access to hearing some demos of that pedal being played. It's a beast. It's awesome. Rick Beato is pretty knowledgeable in the technical, but I find you, Eric, easier to follow. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. Yes, Rick does some good stuff, but I appreciate that, Dennis. That's very kind. I kind of like cranky Eric, Rick said. It's good. It's a good change every now and then, right? If you're happy all the time, here's what happens when you're happy all the time. People kind of get used to that. My wife and my kid do, because I'm like happy all, like, I don't know, 90% of the time, 95% of the time, I'm pretty happy. And then when I'm feeling a little pissy, they know it. I'm just like, pick up your toys. They're like, jeez. But it's good. It's probably good every now and then, right? Because then I'm not pushover dad. Cocaine probably gave Stevie an extra 10 to 12 hours of practice every day, I'm sure. Sonia's saying, Eric, it's been a blast. You're a really good teacher. I've learned so much. The voices you make are hilarious. Oh, and I've been saying dang a lot. Don't let my boy hear you. TNA is the only thing lacking from UGS. Nice. Scott's UGS Pro is where it's at. If you can do it, test drive it for $1. You won't be sorry. Thank you, Scott. Breast Program, Instagram. We need to have a hashtag.
They need to follow our Instagram, but we don't have that content.
Yes, we don't have that content there. Okay, Dev is saying problem in bar chords, chord not coming out properly. Okay, Dev, here's the deal. If someone wants to put the link in the chat, please do. But I have a video called the effing F chord for Dev. Everybody knows this one. You've gone through it, right? And Dev, this will help you understand how to play bar chords. I break it down. If I showed you right now, number one, I've showed it many, many times before, and I'd be wasting other people's time, and I wouldn't be giving you the full everything that you need. But that video I painstakingly created and went over all the little bits and pieces that you would need to do and created a protocol for you to learn it 2 notes, 3 notes, 4 notes, 5 notes, 6 notes, like that in that order. And you will absolutely master bar chords when you're done with it. Okay, and that's free. YourGuitarSage, or I mean, I have a whole series on bar chords inside the program, of course. On YouTube, I have a truncated version. Just search YourGuitarSage bar chords. What's up, Zach? Yeah, harmonics is a science. Exactly, yeah. Okay. Jeez, this chat's going kind of quick. Yeah, you can do some cool stuff with those pinch harmonics for sure. I'm only able to play harmonics at the 13th fret on my acoustic. Eventually, I'll get the rest of my fretboard. Too many songs. It's the 12th fret. Lisa, if it's right here, right where the guitar connects on a classical, it's the 12th fret. Okay, good stuff. Okay, I don't know why anyone would want their money back. Oh, thank you. It's the best course by far, and I have Andy Guitar, and UGS is much better. Hopefully Andy's not watching because I love Andy. Thank you, Jordy. That's really kind. I'm sure Andy people love Andy more. Probably like, that Eric guy talks too much and he's cranky 10% of the time.
Cranky old man.
Salty old man. Maybe I am. Okay, good. Drew started RJ's course and it's well worth it for sure. Good, beautiful. RJ's slide course is awesome. It is. He's a great player. One of my favorite players in Nashville. I dare say my favorite player in Nashville. He's just a tasty, tasty player. His tones are good. His faces are good. His licks are good. He makes a lot of faces when he plays, so I know he's getting into it. You're in a special place in this Vietnam vet's heart. Oh, thank you, Gene. Super kind, man. Appreciate that. Hey, Eric, is April a good month to come to Nashville and Memphis? We really want to come in April 23. Really want to go to the Grand Ole Opry and Music Hall of Fame. Yeah, it's a great time to come. Nashville's beautiful in April. Need a practice structure. Example, how much time to spend on scales, chords, transitions, songs, etc. I need someone to tell me what to work on. I love Gilmore, Prince, Lennon, classic rock, and blues. Okay, Doug, just from your statement there, I'm going to help you out a little bit here. So here's what I want you to do. Obviously, if you're in UGS, I want you to go through stuff in order as I teach you in that welcome video. And I want you to go to the places that move you the most. So if you're interested in fingerstyle, then you would go to the fingerstyle section and work on that. But you got a lot of people here, a lot of blues, a lot of all these guys liked blues. Prince liked blues, Lennon, obviously Gilmore, classic rock and blues. So so go through those bits and pieces. People ask me about UGS and like, well, what genre is it structured for? And it's like, it's structured for every genre. Like the stuff that I teach you in there is brought into every genre. I don't make it genre specific, but I do have some emphasis. Like I have a swing section, I have some bits on chicken pickings, a little bit on funk, a little bit on fingerstyle. We have slide. We got lots of blues. We got some rock stuff in there. So so even though that's true, if you're still learning guitar in a nice, efficient, step-by-step way, you're never going to get messed up. Now, how much time to spend on scales, chords? This is the thing that jumped out to me. How much time to spend on scales, chords, transitions, songs, etc. Doug, have more fun with music. And this is going to go for 95% of the people that are listening to me right now. You guys are wanting, this is not a workout routine. We're not going to the gym. And in fact, I don't like those workout routines that are real stifling. You just feel like, oh, you just have to stick to the numbers and I can't stand them. When you can really be immersed and enjoying what it is that you do, you'll do it a lot longer. Now that I don't stick to those workout routines, I'll work out for 2.5 hours in the morning because I lose time because I'm having so much fun doing what I'm doing. I'm not heavy lifting either for 2.5 hours. It's like yoga, jumping on a trampoline, some aerobic stuff. But that being said,
let's not focus on scales, chords, and transitions unless they help your Gilmour, Prince, and Lennon classic rock and blues songs. Okay, so what I mean by that is this. Let's say you are wanting to learn Another Brick in the Wall, the solo for Another Brick in the Wall. You could pull up the tab and you could learn it lick by lick and not know anything that's going on. You just learned the licks. You learned everything that's going on as far as where to play it on the neck, but you don't know any of the theory behind it. What scale is he in? Why would he play that lick like I showed you in the beginning of the program here? But it's important to know that theory, right? And what if you have something step by step that you can walk through, then you can go to it, access that information, then go learn the Prince song or the Gilmour song or the Lennon song, and you have your mind is already, it has some tools that are going to make all those licks make way more sense than just playing them. Okay, think about it like this: what would be a great comparison? I mean, music's a great comparison. So you can take someone who learns Eruption note for note. They don't play anything else, never played another song ever. Someone could sit down, learn Eruption note for note, and within a year, probably be able to play it really, really good. If they really went into it and they practiced 8 hours a day and they just, from the beginning, I guarantee you could do it. If you practiced 8 hours a day. But you wouldn't have anything else. You wouldn't have the theory behind it. You would just have the licks and where to put your fingers for that particular song. So what you want to do is you want to have some of that other stuff. So what I would suggest you do, Doug, is find your favorite Gilmour tune or your favorite Prince tune or your favorite Lennon tune. Start with one tune, hyper focus on it. Learn things like what key it's in. Learn how to transition to different keys using the capo, so that helps you with the key. Another thing you'd want to look up is the Nashville number system. Either, I have stuff on YouTube, also inside the course, to help you understand the structure of things. As far as scales, chords, transitions, songs, you have those three guys there. Learn their songs. Don't get distracted by other songs. And inside of there, you're going to be doing your chord transitions because you're playing the chords to these songs. And as far as the scales, probably going to be playing a lot of pentatonic and minor and a lot of major because that's what these guys played. And so you don't have to worry about, hundreds of different scales when really there's like 2 of them that you're going to use 99.9% of the time. That's the pentatonic and the major scale, and its derivatives, like the minor scale and the modes and that sort of thing. But honestly, 99% of the time, it's still just going to be the major scale, its derivative, the minor scale, and the pentatonics. That's literally what you're going to be using 99.9% of the time, okay? Okay. Oh, I love that, Jordy. That's real nice. Bugs Henderson was a personal friend and a first electric guitar teacher. Cool. Do you have any hack on how to mute an acoustic guitar? If I have only time to practice at night, but I don't want to bother the next door neighbors. So yeah, what it sounds like is you want your guitar to be quieter. Learn to play with your thumb, right? Playing like this, listen to the difference. With my thumb, right? I'm strumming about as hard as I would strum with a pick. If I use the pick, probably twice as loud because it's something much harder and it's digging into the strings even though I'm not really digging into the strings. So get used to playing with your thumb. That's what you're looking for as far as muting. You're looking for a quieter guitar. Surprised there are any left. Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly. That's why literally my guy who builds these, usually he just keeps sending me boxes of them and I can't keep them on the shelf. And now I can't keep them on the shelf, but he's not sending me anymore either. So I probably have literally like 5 of those left. If you want one, now it would be the time to get them because there's just, you can't really get them anymore. Obviously, I'm sure that'll repair itself in time. What does the 4 major 7 chord always? Why does the major 4 chord always sound good? Yeah, that's a pretty one, isn't it? Major 7. So there's a 1. There's a 1 major 7. Here's a 4 major 7. It's like a jazzy version of the blues. That sounds pretty square, doesn't it? That's all right. I like it. It's kind of. So this is a major 7. Different than the 7th chord. We take that 7th and we raise it a half step, so it's an actual 7 and not a flat 7. They do. They sound really pretty. So Tanmay, you didn't ever answer me. Do you love blues? Do you love jazz? Because you had asked a question there in regards to in regards to some chords. I want to ask you that question. My biggest mistake was skipping videos of things I thought I knew. Jeffrey. And do you notice, like in the beginning of my program, I say to folks all the time, go through every single video. I have a 1.5 and a double speed. Go through the videos, because I would bet any amount of money that there's stuff you don't know. I don't care if you've been playing for 50. I don't care if you've been playing longer than I have. Unless you have gone through every little iteration and considered every little thing, there might be stuff that I'm sure there's stuff that I don't know. I haven't come across it, at least in the beginning stage there, but every player that goes through there and they're like, oh my God, I've been playing for 40 years and I missed that. So don't do that. Go through those videos. That's UGS Standard, the one that you guys get today for free by clicking the link in the description of the video. Once you're on that page, scrolling all the way to the bottom and signing up, okay? So absolutely don't skip any of the videos, because I made them for you and I put them in order and just did the whole 9 yards. And there's a real reason why that is. Dave, we have an app for UGS Pro. If you download the Kajabi app, then you sign into the Kajabi app, your courses will show up in there. It's Kajabi, Kajabi. But it's web ready, so there's not really a need for an app. It just literally, it's mobile ready, so you just pull it up in your web browser. Do I accept cash? Matthew's saying. Yeah, but I'm in Franklin. So I don't know how you'd get that to me, but if you had an app I could get my brother to sign on, for whatever reason he won't sign up for anything guitar related unless he can play it on his iPad. Yeah, he can play it on his iPad, my friend. Tell him the internet works. Yeah. Okay. So, Stafford saying, I have 1 hour of practice time every day. I like finger picking. Practice consists of 365, some picking from Joe Robinson, Blackbird, Stairway to Heaven, Jessica, etc. Should I just practice one song? There's not really a right way to do it, Stafford. This is why, again, everybody, this is God talking to you through me, not me. I'm not God, but he's talking to me through you. He's talking to you through me, to ask, what is it that you want? It's a really important question. It's a deep question if you go deep with it. So Stafford, what do you want? Like if you're like, God, I really wish I had Blackbird down because I got a show coming up. Bro, stop playing the other songs and get Blackbird in shape, because it's embarrassing to get on stage and not be practiced up. So don't do that, right? But if you don't have an agenda and you're just like, I just want to get better at all these tunes. They're all improving. It feels great. I love them. Got to switch it up because I'm getting bored of the one. I go to the other. That's a totally acceptable reason why you would want to do that, okay? Also, but I should say on the other foot, if you want to practice one song, you're going to get really good at that one song. I'm a big fan of hyper focus, so I usually will work on one song at a time, get to the extent I want to get, like I'm like, okay, I'm ready for that song, but I'm going to get better with it. So I do that all the time with the Bull stuff. We have so many songs, and so I will get the song down where I'm like, okay, I feel about 90% sure on it, and then I'll come back the next day, fill in the other 5, and then over time the other 5% will fill in. But like I'll get a really good idea of, okay, I got the song here. Here are the parts. Here's what I'm going to play here and there. This is the solo written and what have you. And I've played it a few dozen times. Okay, it sounds great. And that's how I do it. I hyper focus on that stuff. Okay. I've seen Marty on your channel, so I don't think you'll be too mad if I follow both y'all. No, I don't mind at all, man. No, Marty is actually, he's not in Nashville. He's in Cali, but I think he might be thinking, I think he was thinking about coming here. I'm not sure. But yeah, he does, but he comes here a lot. Yeah.
I think he's saying he's in town now.
Oh, he might be, yeah. Oh, he's in Nashville right now. Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Galileo of Dusk, how are you? I got into music last month. Well, friend, welcome. Music is beautiful. Saved my life. My sister tells me I have the vocabulary of a well-educated sailor. Can you hike the mountains in Nashville? So we don't really have mountains anymore. They're hills. Someone might say, what do you mean anymore? I don't know if this is true or not. You'd have to be a geologist or do some studying of it. But they say, I've heard here just recently, and this was news to me, that the Appalachian Mountains were much bigger than the Rocky Mountains and are much older than the Rocky Mountains. And literally, they've just, over the millions or billions of years or whatever, however long it's been in this weird little matrix, whatever everybody believes, they've gotten worn down, right? See the Grand Canyon, like that started off as flat, and literally that canyon was created from water just running through it over the years, over the many, many, many years, you know? It's pretty cool. Yeah, and there's there's some great places to hike in Nashville though, all over. There's hills all over the place to hike, and it's beautiful. And then if you go half hour out of town, there's a ton more. If you go an hour out, there's a lot more. If you go 2 hours out, you start getting into Mont Eagle, and you start getting into Appalachian Trail, and it's so beautiful, man, so beautiful. T-Punch, I don't know what T-Punch is, man. Cumberland Gap is beautiful. A bunch of people coming here, yeah. I've camped many times out there. Can you share any tips on how to mute an acoustic guitar if only, okay, we did that one, right? Yeah. Okay, Eric, do you have an efficient chord change from D to A minor or to C? D to C. So what I was doing there in the beginning of that song, right, the beginning tune there, so I was playing a D like this, which is not straight up a D, right? I also have a 2 and a 6 in this chord. And then I go to the A minor. But if we do some substitution, that right there, I'm kind of using that as a D. I know it sounds different. It's got two more notes in it, but it works well with it. And then I'll do this. And that's a C with a G in the bass. So it depends on the song. For a rock song, that would work great. If it was a praise and worship song, that probably won't sound good. It'd probably be a little scary sounding. But you know, D to A minor or D to C, you know, there's not a whole lot that's similar there, is there? You know, here's what I would do though, Tex Bill, is follow my inventory trick, right? My
chord inventory trick. It's inside of UGS, but essentially what I would do is I would take this D chord here, and I would take whatever is similar. So in this case here, I have these 2 fingers, and I know that they're gonna bump up. So I'm literally just bumping those up, 1, 2, 3 strings. Here they are, 1, 2, 3. Once you actualize that, it makes it make a lot more sense. And then that first finger comes down here. So then I would just make that protocol of, okay, these guys bump up 3, first finger down. Okay, 3, first finger down. And then I would bring those 2 back down, then put my first finger. So I have a protocol, a certain way that I do it every time. And if you do that, you can get faster and faster at it, where all the fingers are moving at once. But focus on 1 finger at a time. If you can, 2 fingers. But ultimately, you will get to where you can move the whole chord at a time, okay? All right, good. Okay. 8 left, right. I don't know what that means. Yep, okay. Good, good, good. All right, trying to get to all your questions here. If you can, make sure it's a question mark on it, right? Question mark in all caps is helpful. Yeah, a lot of people having a hard time getting components and instruments, pedals, that sort of thing. They use the word ambient. Would that be kind of jazzy? No, the tones that I'm playing, that I play in the band, are quasi, I mean, they're ambient. They're not as ambient music is, but it's right on the borderline there, some of the stuff that I'm doing. So ambient is like, it's like this, you know? It's real spacious, right? That's ambient. And now there's music that goes by that name, and it's beautiful. It's really crazy that like literally reverb created a whole genre of music, but it's really beautiful music. It's great to meditate to. Just all super cool stuff. I really dig it. Oh, nice. Sergeant Music just got my dueling ninjas. Oh, good. Oh, beautiful. Thanks, man. So glad you got it. Yeah, it's good to work on one song at a time in a focused manner. Absolutely. Ron, I watch professional guitarists on YouTube and they make it look so easy. I wonder how many years they practiced to get that good. I watched George Benson and he's unbelievable. This is how long it took. Well, here's the deal. When I was 6 years old, I'm 52. When I was 6 years old, I was listening to George Benson on the radio and going, who is this guy? At 6, I loved George Benson at 6 years old. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's amazing. And so that long. And he was good back then. So obviously he's gotten better over the years. It does not take long to get good on the guitar if you focus on the right stuff. You know me, I'm big at hacking things. I'm big at finding out what's gonna move the needle the most and start with those things. I'm definitely fine with doing all the things, not taking shortcuts. I'm good with doing everything, but why wouldn't you start with the thing that you're gonna use 95% of the time than the thing that you're gonna use 5% of the time? That's just a waste of your time. And I don't know about you, but I'm very protective of my time. You should be too. It's pretty finite. Central US was underwater at one time, Ken said. The whole world was underwater. I've heard some scientists say as many as 6 times now. I don't know how they figure that out, but
but I've heard that the world's been flooded 6 times. Just reporting what I heard. That's all. I was in a cave in Tennessee, Cumberland, somewhere wherever, at one point, and I looked up and I saw stuck to the ceiling a seashell, or a fossil of a seashell. And I said to the lady, I said, why would there be a seashell stuck right there on the ceiling? And then she went in to tell me, and she's like, well, scientists believe that the world's been flooded many, many times. And I was like, huh, interesting, you know? You get so much propaganda growing up. I grew up like in a Christian household, and like you get so much like propaganda that like, well, none of that's true, you know? And then there you go. Well, it is true 6 times over. The world's been flooded. So yeah, it's true, man. There's tons of stuff we don't know. I love it that I haven't seen any flood. You seen a flood? I haven't seen a flood my whole life. There definitely hadn't been a world flood. Definitely. Yeah, I'm gonna listen to that guy. How many times have you played the Bluebird, and was it a great experience? I've played the Bluebird probably about somewhere maybe 5 to 7 times, I would say. My first time was the very first year that I moved to Nashville. So in 1990, I was going to school at Belmont. Me and a buddy, Troy Johnson, who I just was texting with this morning. We had a band together and record deal and all sorts of stuff. But he and I played Bluebird as a duo called Me and Eric. That was the name of the band. Me and Eric. It was just us. And then I've played there many times with my wife since then. Okay, so Kevin is saying, Eric, I've got 2 analog and 3 digital hydrometers that all show different values. Any tips on how to know which one is the accurate one? I would take an average of them. That's what I would do. Or go with the one that's, has the highest rating, but I would probably take an average of them. I think that would be a bit, that's what I'd do. 2 sounds, not 3. My goodness, autocorrect is awful today. Okay, sweet, or tea punch is like sweet tea and mint. Ooh, mixed with different fruit juices. I swear it's all over Nashville. Huh, I'll have to check that out. Had it at Belmont, seeing a friend. Sweet. I'll check it out.
6,000 carbs.
6,000 carbs. It's what I need right now. Ethereal. Drew is saying ethereal. Yep. Ambient, ethereal. Yeah. Yeah, you're so welcome, Lisa. Yeah. Floyd was like the originators of ambient. Absolutely. Yeah, man, if you get enough you get enough of that going, you can make it sound really, really beautiful, you know? Let's do something here. You just do some fun stuff with it. It's like almost anything that you play like that. And ambient music really is way less busy than that. But just like when you have those reverbs and those delays going, it really makes things so fun to play. It's hard for it not to sound beautiful, you know. But if you do mess up, you'll hear it a few times. A nice big reverb trail afterwards. At the end of the day, do you like what you're playing and how you're progressing? Exactly. No worries. Enjoy these times on guitar. That's exactly right. Okay. Do you have any recommendations for ear development? Not just finding notes on the guitar, but recognizing majors, minors, sevenths, and ninths, etc. Stratman, well, it obviously starts with finding the notes on the fretboard first. So if you haven't done that, trying to jump to playing majors, minors, sevenths, and ninths, and what have you, is not going to probably yield a lot of results for you, because it's like anything, right? We have step-by-step ways to get to places. So I would start with finding the notes on the fretboard like I show you. So you sound like you might be familiar with that. But yeah, let's talk about it. So, you know, the obvious sound difference between chords is majors and minors. Now when they're back to back like this happy sounding G major chord and this sad sounding G minor chord are obviously two different sounds, right? But with them next to each other like that, it's even more so. Where it tends to be a little bit harder is if you're playing in a chord progression, right? Let's see. Okay, so that's C, A minor, E minor. Now you can hear that first chord, sounds pretty happy. The second chord here, you might be able to hear that it's minor, but you might not. So a great way to do this is to sit down with another guitar player, have them turn their back, and play some different chords. So if I was like, if I played this chord, we can't do it in real time because we're 30 seconds behind, it'll take forever to do it. But if I played this chord, and you hear major or minor, and you said minor, then you'd be right, it's a minor chord. So that's how you play the game, you know, you'd play a chord, or just do, like, take turns going back and forth, and then they can tell you, okay, it's this kind of chord, that kind of chord. Now, seventh chords have that's major. It's similar to my analogy where I'm talking about if I'm telling you about chocolate. If I'm telling you about chocolate, it's one thing. If you're eating chocolate, it's a whole other thing, because I could talk to you about chocolate for 100 years. You're never going to really know what it tastes like. You're not going to get the experience of it until it touches your tongue. And now all of a sudden, you're like, I know chocolate, right? You have to experience chocolate. Me telling you about it is something you're not gonna be able to do. But that's how I practice it, Stratman. Now, how you listen to that, how you know that, is like tasting the chocolate. It's something that you're gonna have to listen. Obviously, minor chords sound sadder, major chords sound brighter, happier, and seventh and ninth chords have their own sound too. So it's something that you just have to experience and listen to and hear the differences between them. So maybe you have your buddy play a seventh chord and a ninth chord, and seventh chords and ninth chords, and seventh chords and ninth chords. Don't play 4 chords at once, just go back and forth between major and minor, or 3 majors, 1 minor. Don't have a pattern obviously, but just do 2 chords, and then maybe do like major chords and seventh chords. Do minor chords and minor seventh chords. And then you can bring in some of the other ones. But I would only do 2 at a time and know ahead of time, well, it's got to be this or that. Then when you start getting really good at that, then introduce another chord. So anything that we're doing, we want to start off at the base level, get our basic idea, prove it. Okay, I'm hearing the difference between the majors and the minors. Okay, I'm doing it pretty consistently, about 90% of the time, 95% of the time. Cool, let's introduce another chord. Or let's try 2 other chords or something like that. But nonetheless, you want to ease into it, I've been listening to music for over 60 years and always loved listening to everything from blues to jazz to folk and rock. I only wish my love of music translated into playing guitar. Ron, it could. but it won't without practice. And that's all I'll have to say about that. It absolutely could, but you got to do the practice, you know? That's cool, Robert. Geological core samples, right? It's crazy. Warm wells, warm water seashells. Yeah, I've heard. I mean, they're talking about it now, right? The shifting of the poles. It's happened like every, I don't know, 26,000 years or something. The poles like shift. I don't know if they completely shift or what, but it obviously shakes some stuff up. With the way the last 2 years ago, and it's probably right on the horizon, that and some aliens. Although I think the aliens would be nice, right? It's like this whole idea of like aliens are going to get us. It's like, this is what I say. Do you think we'll be more technologically advanced in 100 years, or 100 years ago were we less technologically advanced? Or less, right? Less, obviously. So that's only a difference between 100 years. Imagine what other life forces out there, what other beings might be out there, like how long they've been out there. If they've been out there 200 years more than us, then they're going to be that much more advanced, right? If they've been out there 10,000 years more than us, they're going to be flying around in stuff that our brains don't comprehend. So me thinks that if aliens wanted to, if there are ETs, which I'm pretty sure everybody is at least open to wondering about now. We just don't know what's out there, right? Like they would do something. If they wanted to take us out, they'd have taken us out. I think they're probably watching us. And I think they're probably watching the people that are behaving and the people that aren't. I bet you they're making some decisions up there. That's my personal belief. Sonia, is there a big difference between bending strings and the tremolo? Well, so yeah, absolutely. So bending the strings, we're usually bending up. With the tremolo, usually I'm doing like a, I could bend up, but we usually bend down with the tremolo, or we just kind of give the chords and the notes a shake. Cool. Okay. Good. Thank you, Tex. Bill saying, can you provide the names of the songs you have been playing and the group you were playing with? Bill, yeah, still playing with them. The band's name is Gabriel. That's Gabriel, The Bull. And you can look us up on YouTube. We've got videos. Give me a shout out in the chat there. Say hey to me, because every now and then I watch those videos, so I'll look for you. And then we're also on Spotify, and I think we might have 3 or 4 new tunes out. We just had a new tune that dropped. If you're into the song, if you're into the series Yellowstone, we had a song on an album with a bunch of other artists who are on Yellowstone. So we would love to be on that show because the music just fits that perfectly. So if you're into that kind of cowboy stuff, this is the band for you. So listen to them. I really dig it. Out of any band that I've ever played in, I like it the best. It's just the coolest band. Gabriel the Bull, tunes are super fun. The band's super fun. I say fun, it's not fun. It's very minor, it's very serious music, but it's beautiful. It's so fun to play. Can you provide the names of the songs? So that song was called Follow the Lightning. Yesterday, which that song's not out yet, there's a song called Rolling Thunder. That one is out. Guardian Angels. The Valley. Are you on?
This is Apple Music.
Oh, okay, beautiful. The Valley. Yeah, that's another one too. Yeah, check that out. Just look it out on Apple Music, Spotify, Gabriel the Bull, and just listen down. Let us know what you think. Okay. When you're soloing, do you always try and make the changes or play through just using the pentatonic? I swear a lot of Stevie solos are just in the same position the whole time. David, so what I've found is that I like Stevie there, I like to stay in a particular position, and I typically don't change, I don't make the changes with the scale. Like if the chord is changing, I typically don't do that. Sometimes I do it, but it has a disjunct type of sound, or not disjunct, but like it's got like a mechanical feeling, like, okay, this chord's moving over here, so my lick will do that. And I don't like the sound of that so much, but in bits and pieces, it's a great cliche or a trick or a motif, or you know, it's like a musical idea, if you will. So it's a great thing. So I do that sometimes, but for the most part, I try to work with the notes that are underneath my fingers at that time and resolve them and what have you in the specific chord that I'm trying to resolve to, you know. Spread triads are cool for ambience. Yeah, so a lot of people will use things like sixes, you know, like. And if you really crank the reverb, now we're talking some serious ambient. It's just a really cool sound. I love that one. So yeah, those are sixes, and it's basically a third, but you're spreading it out yet another octave, right? So if I played thirds, it would sound like this. I like this one better. Right? And so what I did there is instead of I took this note, which is a G, and I played it up here. So I just moved the lower note and played. But I kept the low note. So using six is a great way, and so that's right out of the minor chord there in majors. I'm just grabbing the low note and the high note. Make sense? Good. Oh, Hal is a former professional archaeologist and geologist. Nice, Hal. Let us know, man. Here for the music. Beautiful. Yeah, let us know if we're even close to saying the right stuff about floods. Oh, Cindy, thank you. Hi, everyone. 147 here, but not many likes. Yeah, hit that like button, friends, if you would. That helps out. Okay. Thanks, Eric. You grasped what I was asking and provided direction for me to take. I can usually find the note and the minor major, so your explanation as extended the explanation really helped. Beautiful. Thank you for letting me know that, Stratman. I don't usually get a response back like that, but that's helpful because that helps me know that I'm on track. Yeah, you guys can do that. That'd be helpful. Instead of aliens, aeolians. Which is the name of a scale. It's actually the minor scale, Aeolian. Yeah, aliens look at us and went home. They're like, they're a mess. Yeah. To not visit us. I know, right? Yeah. If you drove down the wrong street at night, you're going to be like, I'm interested, right? Or would you be like, I got to get out of here? Hey, you got some suggestions on how to introduce the pinky of my left hand to the guitar? Yes. Go. Guitar, pinky, guitar. Sorry, I need some carbs. Brain's not working super well today. So yeah, Raphael, do the exercise. I've got an exercise on YouTube. I have them inside the course that I'm giving to you today for free. Do exercise number 1 inside the course I'm giving you for free today, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But then I'll have another exercise where we're just working the pinky. It's exercise number 2. That's inside that free course. Conversely, you can just sit here and do, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, like that. That'll definitely get your pinky introduced to the guitar. Thanks, John. Oh, Stratman, that's deep. Aliens watching us, what a tangent. Well, Stratman, that's just the tip of the iceberg of what we talk about here on this channel. The aliens are still looking for intelligent life, indeed. Gretsch is definitely on my bucket list. They're beautiful and I love the sound. Yeah, they really are. I love it. Wow. What a great quote, Jeff. Any technology sufficiently advanced is indistinguishable from magic, right? We have things like this and we think that we got it all right, and we see something that's outside of this. We, as a species, I should say, not we as in you and I, but we as a species, sometimes we think that we know everything. So if we see something that's outside that realm, we'll say, oh, that doesn't work, or that doesn't exist. You can't fly at hyperspeed, or you can't fly at the speed of light, or whatever. It's like, you can't. But maybe there's somebody else who can. Maybe there's another being that can. Yeah, indistinguishable from magic. I love that. Yeah, practicing through arthritic pain. Been there, done that, German. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, Tall Paul, I'm with you, brother. Yeah. It's cool, man. Growing up in the church, I'm not big going, I'm fine if you want to go to church. I'm not going to church right now, but grew up going to church and stuff. And like, that was like a thing where I feel like people got offended. Like if you talked about aliens, like that was somehow insulting to God, that he couldn't create a bunch of different types of beings like there is on the earth. What do we care if they're living in some other place that we can't even reach? Like, what does it matter? Like, it's just kind of cool, the idea. It's a vast, ever-growing universe from my understanding. What's a good technique for doing vibrato? Stafford, a good technique for doing vibrato is doing vibrato. A great way to do push-ups is to do a push-up. But Eric, I can't do a push-up. Okay, but you put yourself in the position of doing a push-up. If you have a vibrato, you put yourself in the position of doing a vibrato, because the only way to understand it is to try it, right? So basically what you're doing with vibrato is you're moving the string down and up like this. Now notice I have my third finger here, my second finger supporting, my first finger supporting, my pinky's up. But I'm not doing this. And you'll never see someone do vibrato like that. You'll always see these other fingers helping out, because it makes sense. And what you want to think about is like you're kind of, back in the day, people would smoke and they'd smush their cigarette into the ashtray. That's what I think about, And it's going to be awkward at first. At first it's going to sound like this. It's going to be goofy sounding, right? It's just because you are just wobbly, okay? That's all. And you just practice it more and more, you're going to feel it. It's going to work for you, okay? Good. We needed to get on this marketing campaign to pitch Follow the Lightning for Shazam or a Flash movie. Yeah. Hey, I'm playing for 1.5 years now. And I learned everything by myself with videos. Good. I have a hard time including my pinky, though, while soloing. Do you have any tips I could work on? Raphael, yeah, do that exercise number 2, or the one I just showed you. That one will work out great. I projected Eric to my smart TV once. It almost ended in divorce. JK, my wife can be tolerant sometimes. Let's get your wife in the program. Let's get her playing. So, okay, so David's saying, so what about modes? Like if I have a progression that's A7, D, major 7, E minor, back to A7, do I play A7 all over it or do A7, D major, pentatonic? Okay, so yeah, people get really confused about this, David. There's one tonal center. Unless you're playing jazz, which tends to bring in other chords that are, you know, that are going outside of the basic structure of the major scale for the most part, or many times I should say, then you would introduce modes. If you don't love jazz, then modes, you're probably not gonna like modes because that's literally the sound that you're hearing when those guys are playing. They're playing lots of modes and that's how they're thinking, right? Whereas rock, blues, pretty much like any other player other than jazz is playing diatonically and they're playing that major scale or that minor scale and they're playing pentatonic and what have you. It's not to say that they might not throw a note in, but to say that they're playing modally, to me, is just a massive stretch. So usually when you have a chord progression like that, you're playing one scale, one key, right? So, you know, this right here. So I'm really just right there in the minor pentatonic scale, and you can do so much with that. So get used to doing that, David. Watch my videos on the pentatonic scale. Get really used to doing that because that's what 99% of everything you're hearing is about. It's not complex. People make it complex. I don't know if they do it purposely to knock beginners off or if they're doing it out of ego. I think it's just ego. I don't think they're purposely trying to knock, you know, beginners from learning, but I feel like there's just this thing, man. I see it with teachers and I see it with players where they talk about stuff in a way it's like you're using $5 words. They're trying to make it complicated, and it's like, why would you do that? Like, why wouldn't you make it easy for people so they can? It's not complex, you know. Usually it's not. Jazz can be a little mathy. You got to think about some stuff, you know, for sure. But most music's not. Okay, good. Peaky dexterity is really difficult to develop. Yeah. Just do those 2-finger exercises for sure. You are right, Ken. We are being watched. Yep. Large difference between religion and spirituality. Amen. Absolutely, man. Oh, that's nice, David Skelton. I'll have to check that out. Watch The Expanse. Yeah, that sounds like fun. Wow, Robert, thank you so much for the super kind donation, man. That's very generous. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Super kind. Super nice. Okay, on advice. Nothing comes... Okay, thanks for the great Q&A. I will continue my practice based on your advice. Nothing comes easy without practice unless you have natural skills. And there really are no natural skills, Ron. I mean, there's really not. If there is, it's such a infinitesimal sliver that it's just not even worth talking about. Talking about it, though, creates, not you, Ron, but with people, it creates that victim mentality. It creates, well, that they're lucky, I'm not lucky. They've got all the, you know, they were born with that. It just, that ends up being whiny and no one likes it and it doesn't do anything for the world and it doesn't make a good player and it doesn't make a good preacher and it doesn't make a good plumber and it doesn't make any, it just makes victims, right? We got a crazy amount of those going on right now. None of them are watching this channel because I've pissed them all off, but natural talent. Like I say, take Eddie Van Halen at 5, take Jimi Hendrix at 5, and take somebody who's watching this show who's never picked up the guitar before, they just picked it up. They were all equally sucky at 5 years old. At 7 years old, they were too. And I think around 7, I think Jimi Hendrix picked up the guitar. Maybe it was around 9. So all of a sudden, Jimmy started developing this natural talent, right? And Eddie Van Halen just became naturally talented after like 10 years of hardcore practice. Now, I don't know about you, but it's either very coincidental that they developed all this skill when they practiced, or they were born with it. And I'm being facetious. It's only practice. It is literally only practice. So if Eddie Van Halen never practiced, there's no amount of it. There's no amount of playing that he would have been able to do that would have sounded anything worthwhile. You can listen to old tapes of Eddie and you can hear where he was working on things and he was missing this and missing that. Of course there's those days. With every amazing player there is under the sun. That's just the way it works. But our brains don't have a hard time comprehending that that's even true. But it's 100% true with every single player. And every songwriter and every producer and every plumber and every garbage man and every whatever. Like, we all learned stuff going in sanitation worker, not garbage man. Where do I get tabs with the measures or bars that have the whole, half, quarter, etc.? I've heard time with to know how long a note is. Where do I get tabs with? Okay, so if you're talking about tabs for songs, Ron, ultimate-guitar.com is a great place to do it. Thank you so much for all you do to help learn to play. You are a kind soul. I get overwhelmed with where to start learning to play solos. Do I need to know theory, first scales, keys, where to start? So, Pammy, I know it sounds like a pitch, but you got to start at the basics. If you tried to go straight into geometry and you didn't take algebra, you're going to have issues. So why would you do that to anybody? So you got to learn the basics. Go through the beginner section of UGS first. If you don't want to buy anything, that's fine. Start with the pentatonic scale. Start with minimalistic blues. You should be writing all this down. Start with the call and response. Many of these videos I have for you for free on YouTube. If you want to delve down into the actual courses of them, those are replete inside of UGS. Of pretty much anything that I have one video for, I've got whole courses on inside of UGS, because we'll deep dive down in there, right? So yes, you need to know some basic theory. You need to know the pentatonic scale. But for me to say that isn't going to help you. You have to go through the steps. So start at the course I'm giving you today for free, UGS Standard. Hit the link that's in the description of the video. Anybody else who needs help with any of this stuff, that's where to go. Okay, we got 3 minutes, my friends. Let me take maybe like one more, okay? Ah, beautiful. Love it, Sonia. So kind. Yeah, maybe Jimi Hendrix did bring his guitar to bed. I used to do stuff like that too. I would bring my guitar everywhere. I'd bring it to bed and just kind of noodle with some notes and stuff like that. And just, you just loved it. You know what I mean? You just wanted to be around it all the time. But unless he's practicing, that's not going to make you any better, right? If there are no aliens, why is Space Jesus a thing? I don't know what's Space Jesus. You know what that is, Mike? I want to know what Space Jesus is. Sounds right up my alley. Every person who becomes a better player because of your generosity, the world is simply a better place. So kind. Thank you, bud. Natural talent is called practice. It really, truly is. I've never seen a baby play guitar well. They all suck. I would never let a baby in my band. You know? They're not good. And then you got the poo pants and everything else. So no babies in my band. You got to be practicing. What 3 tips do you have to get great tone? That's a great question. Start with a guitar that you like the sound of. Now, these are going to be real general, but if you follow them, it's going to give you all the information you need. Start with a guitar that you like the sound of. So if every artist that you watch is a blues player and they're playing Strats, that's probably the sound that you're going to gravitate to, and you might not like the Gretsch. Or if they all have humbucker pickups, right? Les Pauls and ESPs and things like that, then you might pick a guitar with humbucker pickups. So knowing what guitar you like to hear the sound of is a start. Then what kind of amp matches that guitar? Because amps, there are certain guitars that work with certain amps better. You don't really want to get down the rabbit hole of like, oh God, I don't know if my amp works with my guitar. But you'll just hear it. Certain amps just work well, but more so with the sound that you're going for. So if you know that Stevie played a Strat through a 59 Bassman, you know, at some point, then you could start with that sound, okay? So starting with a good guitar, starting with a good amp, that's the way to go. And then molding that sound as to what it is you think that you need. I normally wouldn't play anything with that much delay or reverb. I just normally wouldn't. For rock and roll, you know, which is the style that I like the most, I mean, my tone is like this. You know, that sound right there. Except I would be probably playing some humbucker pickups. It wouldn't have this Filtertron sound. But not a lot of, there's a little bit of reverb, more than I normally would use, and a little bit of drive, right? So it just depends on what it is that you're going for. So you need to listen to that too. Whatever it is that you're listening to, if it's reggae, start getting accustomed to, oh, they got a little bit of delay there, or got a little bit of reverb or whatever. And then you start noodling. It's just like you're working with clay. Guitar's like that too. You're working with clay. If you mess up, you can kind of mash that piece down again and start over again. Songwriting's like this, all the music. So friends, don't fret about music. Don't fret about like not being able to play things in the time that you want to play them. This is all a progress. Every single amazing guitar player in the world started off as a baby beginner. They didn't know anything that was inside of UGS standard. They knew zero, okay? None of it. And then one day, that guitar player picks up a guitar, and then one day they learn about the proper way to hold the guitar, and they learn the proper way to hold the pick, and they learn the proper way to hit the strings and that sort of thing. And usually they stumble upon this stuff themselves after trial and error, and they just start doing it. A good teacher is going to get you there quicker, right? But it's a process. So Eddie Van Halen was not Eddie Van Halen in the way that you know him, at 15, at 10, at 8, at 7, at 5, right? There was a time when he picked it up and then he started learning. So we're all on this continuum together, and however good you want to be is up to you. How much time do you want to dedicate to it? How focused are your practices? Are you doing the stuff that you love? I mean, there's many variables right there. So, but however good you want to get on the guitar is absolutely the sky's the limit. There's no stopping you. There's no wall. There's no wall, okay? It's just mental, what you think what your abilities are. You're just putting a mental limit there. A lot of people do that because they don't want to do the work, but it's cool to know that you don't have to do the work, but that you're an infinite being and you can do whatever it is that you want to do. Set out and lean in that direction, okay? That's why I have what I have for you here today, my friends. If you have not already, click the link inside the description of the video to take you to UGS Standard, plus a bunch of other videos I have for you today. It's nearly 50 videos, right? So clicking on that link inside of the description of the video. This is the last day of the 5-day broadcast, so I won't be talking about it anymore. The sale that we have is going to end on Sunday. So friends, if you want to get inside UGS Standard, you know how to do it. Click in that same link, scroll to the close to the bottom, you'll see all the deals that we have. I won't go over them right now. I don't want to waste your time. They're there for you if you should want them. And if you still want to try the program out before it ends on Sunday, You can do it for $1 at YourGuitarSage.com/1. All right? My friends, I'm here for you. Love you guys. Thank you so much for the super kind comments. Sorry I wasn't 100% today, but I love you guys nonetheless. You guys rule, and say hey to the aliens if you see any. Okay, see ya.